Today we're taking you all the way to Nassau in the Bahamas to one of the most newly renovated cruise ports. Cruisers have been waiting and watching for the construction for a long time of this cruise port, so what's changed? We're going to tell you everything you need to know about the port so you can prepare for your day in Nassau. This is Linda and Aaron, although Linda's currently playing tennis, so you've just got me, and we have all of that and more coming right up. This new Nassau Cruise Port cost over $300 million and offers cruisers new experiences and highlights the Bahamian culture. It only opened to passengers on May 27, 2023, and it's called Prince George Wharf. This was a revitalization of the existing area, so when we say it's new, we mean it's really new. To help organize this video, we've broken it down into 5 categories. We're going to go over arrivals, departures, port atmosphere, which is where you'll notice some big changes, food and dining, and finally, what's near the port and what you need to bring. So let's jump into this with the arrivals and departures. At the new Nassau Cruise Port, you'll find 6 berths, including 3 that fit Oasis-class ships and 3 small ships. This means more passengers than before when visiting the Bahamas. If you're docked at one of the farthest spots, don't worry, there's a tram to take you down the pier. If you book an excursion with your cruise line, there's space right on the dock for you to meet up with your excursion groups. Make sure you check the information from your cruise line before heading to your meeting point. Usually the cruise line will give you a slip of paper which tells you where to meet and at what time. So if you look in your cabin, you should find that. There is also assigned zones across the entire port that allows you to meet up with your tour guides as needed. So with all this new capacity, Nassau has secured its 2nd place of most busy Caribbean cruise ports next to Cozumel, but we will see if it takes over for Cozumel in the next few years. If you want to know more about Cozumel or other cruise port videos, check them out on our channel. We have tons. Also, with the way in which the ships now have a bigger dock, you can get some good photos of the back of your ship or the side of your ship or your ship with other ships. So there's a lot of good photo opportunities on the port. So keep that in mind when you get off the ship. You might be able to get a view of the back of it or the side of it, something you might not get in other ports. So now on to the port atmosphere. This is where you'll see the most changes from this massive renovation. There's a lot of new things to see and to do. We really do like the focus on the Bahamian culture and the local stories, but it's more of a manufactured cruise port than it used to be. When we say it's a manufactured cruise port, we mostly mean that it's basically an extension of a cruise ship in that, everything that you had on there, pools, flow riders, things like that, like an Amber Cove are available. It's not actually like a city you're going to. Now, obviously, Nassau has a city, but the port itself is more manufactured now. The new port covers 11 acres right along the water, and it has a capacity of over 30,000 guests per day. You can find the new cruise terminal building, local vendors, Junkanoo, museum, and an amphitheater. The cruise building alone is really cool with a screen in front of it. There's also lots of washrooms throughout the port. We enjoyed walking around and checking out all the stores. There were clothing, soap stores, jewelry stores, and a lot more. In the middle, there was a large covered area where you can get your hair braided. So if that's something you want to have done, it's right there at the port. Not only is there a lot to see in the Nassau port, it is a great location right in Nassau's downtown. You're walking distance to Bay Street, Parliament Square, and the massive straw market. We walked there and it was huge. They had everything and some great deals on t-shirts. Also, if you make your way out of the cruise port, there's lots of people offering different excursions like glass bottom boats and beach days. They kept offering us drinks included, but we don't really drink. However, it was so hot that we would have been more than interested in air conditioning. Be warned, some people do find the vendors to be pushy. We didn't find it too bad, but we were later in the day and we were just saying no and just kept walking. With new renovations, there's also food and drink right at the cruise port. There are booths with different drinks and different food options. You can get a drink and a pineapple, ice cream, burgers, and other food options. It was nice to be able to get a cold drink and enjoy while you're walking around in the shopping area, especially since we were there in the summer. They are going to be opening up more as time goes on. As you walk around, especially when you get closer to the amphitheater, you can still see that there's some empty buildings, which I'm sure will be filled soon. As we were walking around, they were still installing stuff like security cameras and so forth in the stores. I'm sure it'll be more complete when you're there. Also, as you are right downtown, there's lots of restaurants right outside of the cruise port. You can still see the effects of the shutdown as restaurants are still temporarily closed, and sadly, some are permanently closed. That being said, as you walk, you see lots of signs of conch fritters and restaurants and cafes, which all have Bahamian specialties. You can see Senior Frogs, of course. There's always a Senior Frogs at the end of the street, right on the water. Right next to them is Luca Kyrie, which is the bar right over the water, and it has a great location to enjoy a drink, beautiful views, and shopping nearby. This video is mainly about what's at the actual port. and the updates that were done at the port when we talk about these port tours. One of the best things about cruising is being able to explore new places. As we said, being right downtown means that you're in all of the action, and it's very easy to get around. There are tons of day passes to beaches, resorts, swimming with pigs. If you're looking for some more historical experiences, Fort Fincastle dates back to the 18th century and is a 5-minute taxicab ride. The Queen's Staircase was carved in the 18th century, also commonly referred to as 66 steps, and was hand-carved by approximately 6,000 slaves who used pickaxes and hand tools to cut their way through solid limestone, and the entire staircase took over 16 years to complete and was later named after Queen Victoria. Another popular location is the Atlantis Paradise Island, which you can actually see from the cruise ship. If you're interested in heading off to one of these many attractions, there's a taxi cab stand. You can't miss it with its big painted yellow taxi. Whether you want to explore the Bahamas on your own or book a tour, we definitely recommend getting off the ship as there's so much to see and do. With that said, it's a beautiful jumping off point for all of your excursions within Nassau, whether that's just going around the city itself or going on one of the excursions nearby, either through the cruise line or booked separately on the cruise port. A lot of people often ask us what to bring with them to the cruise port. The official currency is the Bahamian dollar, but US dollars are often accepted. We always like to take a credit card and some cash just in case. You never know when you're going to find some good shopping deals. If you are a US citizen, you do not need a passport and can use valid photo ID, but non-US citizens, including Canadians like ourselves, are required to have a passport. We were not asked for ours this time, but other times we have been asked, so it's important that you have it. You will also need your cruise card or bracelet, depending on what your cruise line has. You'll also want to make sure that you have sunscreen. We find the sun gets so much stronger in the Caribbean. We like to wear an environmentally friendly one, especially if we're swimming. Regular sunscreens are not great for marine life. If you're just planning on shopping, you won't need a towel, but if you want to hit up a beach, we might want to throw one in your backpack, along with your swimsuit. We also like to put a hat, water, and power packs in our backpack. Usually when we're taking a bunch of pictures or videos or connecting with family, we go through the battery life pretty quickly. Also, since this is the Bahamas, if you're going to use your cell phone, we would recommend that you make sure that whatever your cell phone provider is allows service in that area and you understand the costs. Overall, we really enjoyed walking around and seeing all the new attractions at the Nassau Cruise Port. This is the first phase of opening. We still have phase 2 coming later this year or next year, which will include signature restaurants and more family space. I'm looking forward to going back and seeing what they've added. It is a great port because you are right downtown, so it's very easy to get to local shops, historical sites, and restaurants. It can get very hot, so be sure to stay hydrated. Make sure you know what time you need to be back on board. Nobody wants to be a port runner. We hope that you found this video about Nassau Cruise Port helpful. Have you ever visited before? What's your favorite thing to do in the Bahamas? Let us know in the comments below. We love hearing from you all. And if you want some more of our content, we also have another channel called Flamingos in Wonderland, where we talk all things Disney and theme parks. Remember, memories are forever, so make them fabulous. Thanks again for watching, and happy travels.